Hello, everyone out there. I hope my internet is okay. It was glitching out before, but we've got Amanda Wong with us. Yay, Amanda! And my co-star over here, Kathy. And we're going to let Amanda shine first. She's going to talk all about May and yesterday's episode. And take it away.
So yesterday's episode was a fun one to film. I got to work a lot with the horses. I got to work with Jack, and I think it probably was one of my first scenes working with Aaron, just the two of us. So that was really, really nice. And I shared with the ladies earlier that in order to get Newton to be well behaved, I had a little biscuit in my skirt, and so he was just kind of like able to like nuzzle the biscuit. And we gave him the biscuit after, and he was so well behaved. And yeah, it was really, really nice to work with him. And I felt like, because we had the crew inside the stables, and it was kind of in a kind of an environment where there's so many of us, that I really, really tried to be calm with the horse and like try to, because I know that they can sense energy, right? So I'm trying to like be as calming of a presence as I could with Newton, and he did a fantastic job and so well behaved.
I have a question. What is the horse's real name?
You know what? I actually don't remember. I know mine is named Pablo, but I forgot what his horse's real name is.
Do we ever know the name of your horse on the show? It's not the same. Is it something different?
We just, well, I don't think we mentioned the name at all. Okay. Yeah, we just don't address the horse so much.
Amanda, did you know how to? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Kathy.
Did you know how to ride before you got the part?
Yeah. I learned in Mongolia. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun experience.
Right?
Pardon?
There's a story there that you learned how to horseback ride in Mongolia.
Well, you see, one of my family friends told me it was one of the coolest experiences she ever had going across the Mongolian steppe. So she was like, I highly recommend it. And it was like very nomadic. We slept in yurts and traveled by horse, and it was a very, very cool experience. Mongolian horses are a lot tinier than North American horses. So I would say probably Newton was like maybe 30% larger than a Mongolian horse. Yeah, much, much larger. And these ones were a lot smaller, and they were very well behaved. And in order to get like photos, you have to like bribe them with treats so they would stop and stuff. So yeah, and all the photos they're like bent down eating and stuff. So it was cute. It's very nice.
I was wondering, he really looks afraid when they. You're not there at first, but scared. He's with I don't know who it is that goes in before you do in the horse.
Yeah, Aaron with
yes,
Deanna,
it is,
and also Rob or
right.
Jabin.
That's it. It starts backing away and has that look. How did they get the horse to behave that way?
So actually, what happens is we have like this little kind of it's kind of I would say it's kind of like a little balloon. It's like a little pump, and we just like have like air. So air would just make a sound, and then the horse would kind of back up whenever it heard the sound.
Oh, clever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that's some acting.
yeah. The horse should win something for it. It did a great job.
Oh, I know.
Definitely a member of the cast yesterday.
What was the poultice that you put? Like, what was that was actually put on the
poultice is kind of just like, it's like a mixture that's supposed to like kind of soothe it. So what it really was just, I think it was kind of like a paper mache kind of thing in reality. So it was actually nothing, and the horse was never injured. So we just put like kind of like a paper something on it, and then we just wiped it off after. And in order to keep it from changing each take, I would just kind of go around it. So I never really touched it, and I was like scooping around it. Yeah. So your hands don't get all like gunky too.
So I'm loving the whole pharmacy. That's gorgeous, and I love
so cute, right?
Yeah.
Did you see did you see my video that I posted?
Yes, I loved it.
Yeah, it was so cute.
All the details. They did a great job with it. And you're always like dishing out the ice cream. Like, you're a pharmacist. I get it. I know how that happens. That's traditional. But it's mashed potatoes, right? We talked about that before. How'd they make it brown? What'd they do to that?
I don't know about that one, but I know that there's like, I think it's pepper for the vanilla bean. It's just like mashed potatoes with a little bit of pepper. So it looks like there's like vanilla bean flakes. I'm not sure about the chocolate flavor. Maybe it's cocoa powder mixed with mashed potatoes.
Or it could be just gravy.
Yeah, could be. A little melty mess.
It looked great.
Yeah.
can you tell us anything? Like, I know you have to be careful what you can spoil,
Mhm.
but anything that we can look forward to relationship wise with anybody, not just with Nathan, but just even
Mhm.
with the horse, whatever. What's coming down the road?
So there's a little bit more time that May spends with Newton, and
Okay.
because Nathan is currently in the hospital or in the
Yes.
infirmary, then he hasn't actually seen me in action with Newton, and he's going to be curious
Oh.
about that, I think.
No, he definitely is going to be curious. I mean, I
Hmm.
love that. You know what else? I'm surprised because we talked at great length. And for whatever reason, I did not expect your character to like have the personality that she does. Like you said, you're plain, plain spoken, but I was like, I think you're a little bit aggressive. Like you're a little
Oh
bit,
yeah, because I remember you sent me an email about that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
There's a lot of mystery around May right now, I think, because there's a lot of unanswered questions and there's not enough, like, I guess, time for us to explain everything that goes on. But that's slowly going to be revealed throughout the season. And May gets to know Faith quite well, of course, because that's her tie to Hope Valley initially, right?
right,
And
right.
yeah, and then May will have to at least have some sort of correspondence with Nathan about what's going on with Newton. So we
Okay.
can at least expect they're going to talk.
So your
Okay.
first scene was with the adorable little Jack. Are they going to
Oh,
ever
yeah,
fail
so
to
cute.
keep it quiet, or was that just
Yeah.
kind of
So
Is the
actually, with Highland that day, he wasn't actually there. So we actually filmed it
was
separately.
two separate? Okay.
Yeah, so those reactions were such a surprise to me, and they were so adorable. And Highland's adult, because I don't know who it was who manages the Instagram account, but
his
Highland's
mother?
adult had,
Yeah.
okay, his mom sent me
Yeah.
a message saying every time Highland sees that message or sees that scene that we have together, he always refers to me as the bandit. So I just thought that was like the most adorable thing ever. I was like, oh, that is so cute. But yeah, he's a
I
cutie
know.
pie.
Oh, that is cute. I'm just going to check to see if anybody has any little questions
Yeah,
for
for
you.
sure.
This is not that it's a question, but we had it talked about it. And this is true. Peter
Yeah,
said they gave Kevin real ice cream at one point. I hope so, because he was eating a
he
lot
was
of it.
eating a lot of that. Yeah, I saw a tweet from Aaron saying that Kevin said he gained 40 pounds in that one scene. So yeah, he was eating a lot of ice cream. I could tell, like barreling it down. So hopefully it was real.
All right. I don't know if anyone has any questions. They're just saying all kinds of cool stuff.
Mhm.
This one is true. Peter was saying that the pharmacy set was influenced by It's a Wonderful Life. Did you realize that,
Yeah, so
Amanda?
even before I went on set, Peter sent me a scene from It's a Wonderful Life, and he said, "This is what we're going to make it look like." And I'm like, "That is amazing! I'd love that." And he was explaining how oftentimes, like back in the day, the pharmacy was also the soda shop, and also
Mhm.
sold little items and things, and had
Yeah.
yeah, it was like a multi-purpose spot where everyone hangs out. So that was something that I was told in advance.
I like that they added it because in the summer I found out and saw some things I guess we weren't supposed to, and then the cat was out of the bag kind of thing. And I said that makes sense because it's just another social place for
Hmm.
the cast that's starting to come up in age and they need a
Hmm.
spot to
To
socialize.
hang out, yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
and that's exactly what's happening so far. We saw,
Absolutely. And I
yeah.
think that also a pharmacist is really nice because back in the day, a pharmacist did a lot of things. Like they, sometimes helped tend to animals, or sometimes they were
Mhm.
even like a dentist. And so that's why when
Sometimes
I
they
go
were
into the
the doctor.
infirmary, right, to help Doctor Faith, it's kind of a multi-purpose role too in that way.
Okay. Team Luca Beth is asking, does Amanda have anything in common with May?
Well, I would say that I sometimes tend to be a little blunt, kind of like May. I would say also hmm, I think that's probably one of the main ones. Sometimes I'm a little bit plain spoken,
Yeah.
and I really, really like science growing up. I really wanted to be a stem cell researcher or a chemist of some sort. So I think that I'm kind of channeling these like ambitions, science ambitions, into May. So that's really nice.
I think we talked about that before too, and
Yeah.
and I can see it because I when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot she said that. Oh yes, I mean, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
love it. Um, I don't know if you can answer this, and it's okay because this is like off the cuff. Can you
Mhm.
share why Mei traveled as a man? Was it for her safety?
There is a safety element in it because I think at the time a woman traveling alone is very unsafe. It's going to be revealed more later, but I can say it's that's something to be considerate of when you're traveling in 1919 as a lady without
Right.
any like kind of like guards or someone to protect her.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, because you were going far. Beth says, what does your great is this a relative that's on?
No, so I had tweeted a while ago that my
Okay.
side by side of me, my great grandmother, so
Yes.
she was, yeah. So I was like wondering if we looked alike at all, and a lot of people commented that we did. So my great grandmother, she's so funny. She saw that photo and she's like, "Why do you look so old in that photo?" I'm like, "It's an olden day picture, lady." Like that's why. So she doesn't really have too many opinions on it. She just pretty stoked about it. She's a huge fan of Star Trek, so maybe she's gonna be interested in this kind of film as well. I think she might be. She likes period pieces and kind of futuristic and the past, and less so modern day stuff, but she likes that kind of stuff.
Roxanne and I were talking earlier about how one of the strengths of When Calls the Heart is you'll learn some little tidbit in one season, and then 3 or 4 seasons later, it pays off.
Yeah, bring it back for
or a new
sure.
storyline. And I was thinking about you coming into town with the man's gear on the horseback, and it brought me back to Jack's mom. Do you remember Brooke Shields? That's exactly the way she came into town.
Yeah, it's
the
cool.
man's outfit, and nobody knew she was a lady. So they
At first.
do.
Yeah, and she was traveling
absolutely.
on her own. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
What was it like being a newbie on the show and with so many cast members? Was it intimidating?
So Miranda was absolutely nerve-wracking in the beginning, but everyone's so nice, as you can obviously tell. They're just the kindest group of people. So they were really, really nice about it, really welcoming, and really made an effort to make me feel as though I was part of the group.
I remember when we talked before that I said, is there somebody you bonded with? And you said that Viv was really wonderful with you. And then I saw you all together.
Yeah, I was there last week.
Taking over Instagram, right?
Yeah.
That was cute. That was fun.
That whole family is just like so kind, and they're just so lovely, and I adore Vienna and Elias and their son Lennox. Just the kindest people. They're so welcoming and so warm, and yeah, they're very nice. And I also really felt like I bonded with Rothgar too.
Oh, okay.
funny man.
You're in so many. He is right. You're in so many scenes together. Like you two were. Yeah, I loved his little expression when you said in the episode, like if you knew it was me, would you have hired me? And when you walked away, he's like, yeah. And oh my God, that echoed. I'm sorry, that was so loud. I love when you're telling. He's questioning that, and you're hanging your.
I'm like, do you see this?
You're not taking no for an answer.
Is irrelevant.
Yeah. I'm staying, mister, and my sign is up. I'm staying. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. That's a nice scene between us. I like that scene a lot.
I did. It was hilarious to me. It was good. It was subtle, fast, but like if you paid attention, there was a lot going on. Sharon wants to know, when do you get to meet Allie? Is that coming up soon?
I'll be meeting Allie soon. Allie, played by Jada, she is such a sweet girl, and she's going into womanhood, and she's like growing up on this show. So she's noticing boys a little bit more. So and Nathan is just sighing at the thought of Allie interested in boys, I'm sure. And he just as Mountie Nathan, he doesn't really know what to do, and so I will be meeting Allie, and we do exchange a few words about boys.
Okay, that's good. So there'll be a little bonding moment there. Everything that I had hoped for her character that is happening. That's nice. And I also was hoping that if they were going to introduce a new female character, not that I'm saying that it's going to be the love interest of Nathan, I didn't mean that at all, but someone who would be also bonding with Allie, that she have a bit of like self-confidence and chutzpah and spice, because that's what Allie is like. So
Oh, absolutely. She's
yeah.
such a spunky and like, also plain spoken little girl. And
Yes.
yeah, it's lovely to see in both Jada and in Allie.
Now, before I address this question, I was thinking of something. I know on Sundays you have like big Sunday dinner with your family. Are they watching? Are they watching When Calls the Heart when you are, or you don't get it on a Sunday?
Okay, so this is okay. So it actually airs at 5 p.m. until 6 p.m. In Vancouver. So I
Okay.
usually go over to Viv's house, or I'm going over to Viv's house to watch it with them. And
Okay.
I sometimes, how do I describe this? So my family and we watched it as well. And so that's why last week I wasn't able to go to the Leacock house. So that's when we watched it. But I haven't yet announced it to my mom or my grandmother yet. I know. And I was talking. Yeah, I know. It's a crazy big, worst kept secret in the world. Yeah. So I'm going to surprise them with the information, and I'm gonna splice up some of my favorite scenes and hopefully record their reaction and see how they like it.
Will you share that? Will you let us
Yeah,
know?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And I'm like planning it all out because I know the perfect time to reveal it, and so I'm really excited and really nervous at the same time.
Oh, I love that. Arlene says, loving the costume designs, especially the riding gear. You were coming in to town. What can we expect for future costumes? Do you have a favorite? Yeah, you had some gorgeous blouses on the other day.
Yeah. I have a lot of really, really cute outfits. I thought that the riding gear, what was really ingenious about it is it had a way to roll up the skirt and button it so that you couldn't see it under the jacket. And I have these like some cute blazers coming up. I have my quintessential date outfit or whatever, like the kind of coming to town, like special occasion outfit, which is the one that you see me coming to town with, the coming downstairs one. It's my special outfit. And then I've got I got a lot of outfits this season, so it's nice.
Barbara
I think we missed the Hope Valley dry cleaners. I haven't seen that yet.
Right.
That's
How do we even clean our clothes? I don't know. We just spray them down. They're all super stinky.
Scrub them. I do remember seeing, because in the background of something, that there's these new washing machines that they got.
Yes, right.
So maybe everybody's going to get one of those.
yeah. At the Mercantile. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I almost forgot about that.
I think you kind of answered this, but just in case, because someone was asking, Mei and Faith, will they continue to work so close together?
Yeah, I think that this incident with Nathan is also one of the bigger kind of events in the infirmary. So we work together closely because I'm right next door, and I have like some of the medication that Faith needs. So we will be working closely because of the medical field thing.
That's okay. That's interesting. Actually, I love that. I like it because it's like a potion. You have to like little.
Yeah. I like that too.
Will Mei be living at the Queen of Hearts, or possibly move into Abigail's Cafe, or say no comment?
Well, as of now, Mei is in the Queen of Hearts. So that's why she comes down the stairs. She's setting up there. And so all of her things are currently in the Queen of Hearts. But she may be moving later.
That's true. And you know what I love? That's why you said, are you going to send my trunk over? Like, because it all doesn't fit in your saddlebag. And I was mentioning that, but I wasn't mentioning it because I thought it was odd you had the trunk. I was mentioning because here you're having this big discussion about you're not who you thought you were. And you're like, you're going to send my trunk over, right? And I'm like, oh, like,
I'm saying that's,
pick up
for sure. Because I have such beautiful outfits. How do I get changed in things? Because they're all sent ahead of time. So Ned Yost already has my stuff. He can't really ship me off just yet, at least.
No. Yeah. Oh, this was lovely. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, anytime. Thank you for having me, guys.
Sure. And we're loving your character. I know there's mystery around it. I'm okay with the mystery. There was mystery when Lucas Bouchard came. There was mystery when who else came there? They were shrouded. Oh, Carson. He had mystery around him. And then, we find out the mystery, what it all is about. And then, you're just so in love with the character. And we hope you stay. And we know there's going to be a season 10 and you will be in it.
I hope so. Has it been confirmed yet? I don't even know.
No. That's just me saying it will.
Oh, okay.
Because I say
Manifesting
it will.
throwing yeah, exactly. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. Roxanne and
Sure.
Kathy. So great to just hang out and talk with you guys.
Thank you for joining us. It's
Anytime.
been wonderful.
Good. All right. You have a good one.
Okay, you guys too. See ya.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right. I see some questions. I'm trying to star them as they go on before Kathy and I actually dive into getting a drink or not getting a drink. You could get a drink at this time, but before we dive into the story, you want to get a drink, go use the bathroom, hurry on back. I wanted to address real quick Sharon's question. No, it wasn't Sharon. It was somebody. Here it is. Is this it? Julie says, don't the Canfields live in the space over Abigail's? They don't. When I had Viv and Natasha on, we were asking that question. I don't know who lives up above the cafe. It used to be Jesse and Clara. They're not there. They're not really revealing yet or addressing it. I don't know if they ever will. But the Canfields still live in their house. They still do. I thought it was like a metaphor because, I have to think everything is something. So I looked at it as they came to town, they liked it, but they weren't sure how accepting they would feel. So they took that cabin sort of on the outskirts, like you're there, but you're not, right? And then as they became so welcomed and accepted, and Joseph said, yes, he would be the pastor. Now they became closer and live in one of the row homes. But when I talked to Viv and Natasha, they're like, oh yeah, that's nice, but it was due to like the set reasons and the weather, and it was so hard to haul things out, and it got wet and muddy, so they just moved them in, which is cool, makes sense. Who lives above there? I don't know, but so many people could, right? Where's Fiona live? Where's Faith live? Where's Lucas live? Yeah. Okay. And I also wanted to know if Elizabeth would be jealous of Mei saying her man was handsome, or does she know that Mei knows their relationship already? Oh,
I haven't seen one sign of jealousy from Elizabeth.
Nope. Yeah, very, very confident. As a matter of
fact, in love.
And she looks and she turns and she's like, yeah, that is my man. He is.
I had a little hiccup when she was looking at Mei Sou talking to Newton. And she just got this big old smile on her face. I bet you money she plays matchmaker for those two.
Oh, what about that? All right, let's dive in, Kathy. Let's start talking. What do we want to talk about?
Well, I just, as I was saying earlier, I had a lot of feels in this episode. It just, this is one of the first seasons where I'm totally into all the storylines. I'm digging on everything. I'm really interested, in no particular order, I'm really interested in where they're going with Robert and Angela. And I'm interested in what dynamic, if any, Allie is going to bring to that whole storyline, because all of them are growing up.
And she's coming back, right?
Yep. And I'm just thinking, with Mei Sou in town, she's the pharmacist. We got Faith, who's a doctor. Somewhere down the line, we may have Mei Sou's husband show up. Somewhere in there, I just got this germ of a thought that Angela, blind, can anything be done? Is it just a matter of finding the right doctor? So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if that comes to fruition. I'm no longer sure where they're going with Cooper, but I'm invested in the ride. This kid is, he's really acting his little tush off, and he's got several issues, and I'm interested in seeing where they're going with it, and how they're going to address it. I love the pacing with Lucas and Elizabeth. They're not moving them too fast. They're not dominating the show. We're just getting little bits and pieces of them. But what we have is choice. It's no grand gestures, little gestures, and they're just so freaking cute and adorable, and can't keep their hands off each other unless they're interrupted by the election results. But I just really love where we're going with that. They continue to learn about each other and share their concerns and their worries. And that's the key to a healthy relationship, that, they're not holding secrets back from each other. I think it's a very healthy relationship, and I hope they keep it up like that. I love the banter with Nathan and Lucas. and Nathan was putting the screws to him. I know you feel guilty. Just get me some more ice cream and I'll consider forgiving you. I'm telling you, mark my words, those two are going to be besties
Oh, I know.
before it's all over. Wow. And I mean, I'm seeing a healthy teasing relationship with Elizabeth and Nathan. He's
Yeah.
gotten to the point where he can tease her, and they're having their own little banter. So those were my initial thoughts about yesterday's episode.
I love the whole scene between them because like he's I don't know, not the word snarky, Nathan. He's not being snarky. He's just like a pain in the neck kind of
Yes,
personality.
yes.
And we never really got to see that about him because he really wasn't really close with anyone. Maybe a little bit with Bill, definitely with Allie. So when
Mhm.
he was Allie, he would do dad jokes and say silly things and tease her, which is great. But now we get to see him interacting with another adult in a lighthearted way, which I love. And we get to see more of him. And of course, he is going to, because of the personality that Nathan has, he's going to give Lucas and Elizabeth a hard time, but definitely Elizabeth in a good way. And
Mhm.
that's why she says to him, is that how it's going to be? And he's like, yeah, that's how it's
Yep,
going to be,
pretty
at
much.
least, yeah, for a while at least. And so when they're like, Fate's like, am I interrupting? And she's like, no, this wasn't going the right way. And out the door she went. That was not in seriousness. That was in fun. And then there's Lucas sitting in that chair, spending time with poor Nathan in the infirmary, eating all the ice cream. And at one point, I thought he was going to say to him, would you teach me to drive? And then he changed it to get me more ice cream. But I was like, he wasn't asking for him to teach him to drive and back out. He was just giving it to him, like put it on a cone.
Roxanne, didn't you love how there was no subtext in the scenes with Nathan, Elizabeth, and
Yes.
Lucas? There was no little, shadow of them, one of them
Nope.
looking like there's something there that I'm concerned about. It was just banter. They're all
Yes.
three friends. Lucas isn't jealous. I didn't get the impression Nathan is jealous. And Elizabeth is just loving that she didn't lose her friend Nathan. I think it's
Yes.
terrific.
I love it. I love it because she has that connection still with Allie. So to me, it was natural for him to be concerned about Allie. He's like, I don't want her to know. Like he doesn't want anybody from the town to leak out. Is there a beeping sound on your part
That's
or
me.
mine?
That's my timer. I'm going to turn it off now.
Oh, okay, no problem. So I'm talking to all of you without Kathy, but she can hear my big booming voice, I'm sure. And I was saying how I liked that he reached out to her because they are friends. He and Elizabeth are definitely friends. She's very much connected to Allie. So he wants to make sure that she gets word to the grandparents or to whomever, but to protect her and take good care of her. So that makes sense to me. It's not, oh, she's still trying to make her decision. No, that's gone. They're moving on to a really cool like friendship. Something else that I liked about the ice cream scene. Well, actually, it's not the ice cream scene. It's what has Lucas become the delivery man with all these? He's got cards and things. He drops off the piece of mail to him because it's from Allie, and he looks and she has her little note on the outside. And I like that because there's a connection between Lucas and Allie. I know that there's going to be more, there's got to be more of it somewhere along the line because when you think about when she first came to town, the first person she saw was Nathan, but then the next person that she truly interacts with is Lucas, and he helps her out. And then again, when there's that struggle in season 8, he's there to help her out. So I think that, like you said, I think they're going to wind up, and some people don't want to hear this, but I think it's the direction it's going in. They're going to wind up being very good friends. So much so that, how Lee and Rosemary are like family. They're really not like friends, right? And I feel that whole thing is going to happen. I wanted to talk a little bit about Rosemary and Lee. I'm really thinking, so they spent so much time in season 8 with Lee finding his purpose, right? So it really set us up to think that he was going to be the mayor in this season. And in the back of I really wanted it, thought the signs were there, but I also had like a plan B. And I was thinking, and I even tweeted this out the other night, if he's not mayor, because they spent so much time talking about he has a sense of, who am I, what's my purpose, then I really think that they're going to address them becoming parents. And I mentioned this before a little bit, but if you've ever seen them talk about being parents, they never really fully came out and said that. Like they would hint at it, they would talk around it. But towards the end of yesterday's episode, they're walking to church and they openly were like, "You would have made a great mother. Like you would have made a great, like boom,
They
it's
accepted it.
And she also said, and you would have been a great, father." And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm sorry. They're going to be parents somehow, some way by the time the season's over. These are the little hints and storylines. What do you think? You think that's going to
I
happen?
couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. And poor Lee's trying to find his purpose. So now he's going to be managing editor or not managing editor, what was he going to be? Is he managing editor?
Assistant or deputy, whatever the one under her. Yeah. That's
So-
going to last a hot minute.
Got you. And he can't even answer the phone correctly. And he's like, he really doesn't have a purpose. So I think that's going to continue. And we're going to find, I really, really do think somewhere along the way that they're just going to be parents. It's just
They are
in my brain. I really do.
I
also
believe in
think
the homes.
their wedding's going to be challenged. I mean, their wedding, I saw something on the site. Their marriage is going to be challenged. Like usually they have little rifts, but they are okay, clearing things up. I think they're going to be stressed out a bit. And
It's working together, him working under her, that's going to be the challenge, I think.
Right. Or also her working too much because they're filling that need, and they're not making time for each other. They're going to have to take lessons from Lucas and Elizabeth on how to make them.
I think Rosemary is sublimating her disappointment and not having a child to care for. And she's turning her work into her child, so to speak.
Yes. And I agree. I agree with that. I was thinking about Allie returning. Since she's not going to be on for a few episodes still, they're showing that relationship with Angela and Robert growing. And I love where they're on that bike that was for Jesse and Clara. And she's like, I feel like I'm flying. And they whiz by on the way to church. And the father's, Joseph's like, yeah, I'm more concerned about Angela with that boy. So I can see where she comes back, and then all of a sudden she sees this other relationship, which I think is adorable for for all of us, but definitely for the Hearties that are younger that are tuning in. They get to see a storyline that's really meant for them and how it's handled. And I'm looking forward to it. So I don't know how that ends. I don't want a love triangle for them, that's for sure.
No, but there's so many dimensions to that.
Yes.
There's she's blind, they're interracial, and which probably means nothing to her right now. But
right.
She's got, she's a preacher's kid, and then there's Allie in there too, and Angela is so kind-hearted that it's just there are a lot of dimensions there that they can play with. I look forward to it unraveling.
Yeah, there were some little things that I caught that I liked, and they're just little hints of whatever and whispers. You don't know unless you see them again and again. Then you know that they mean more. But and we've seen this again and again. They're building a change in Elizabeth. So in the first episode, she says to Lucas, please, stay. I made scones and I have coffee. Okay. And I was like, oh, look, she's got scones going on. She's supposed to be, they made such a big deal of her not being the best of a cook or baker. And then this episode, Laura knocks on the door and she's about to come in to help, because she stays with little Jack. And she's like, something smells delicious. And she said, that's, Jack's breakfast. So she's becoming better in the kitchen, which is cute, like domesticating her, even though she is, but we never got to see her as a wife. We never did because Jack died so suddenly. And I'm hoping we get to see her cook for him, or what if Lucas cooks for her?
That's what I'm looking for, to the moments, the little moments that they start becoming even more attached to each other and doing just the day-to-day stuff. I'm with Elizabeth. I'm not looking for the big moments. I'm looking for the little, let me bring you breakfast, or, him reading to little Jack, that kind of stuff. Just little moments that happen in a relationship.
And then the teacup, right? She gives him the tea. I do have to point out something, which I don't really like to do, but I thought this was interesting. There really looked like there was tea or something in it when she was bringing it to him, because she said, "I bring you tea." But then after the scene kept shot, was they kept shooting it, you could see it was like empty. It looked like there was no tea in it. But I love, because there's a little sailboat on there, and he recognizes, oh, okay. She says it's a sailboat, when looked like the sailboat that I had, and they had a name for it. I forget the name. You all might know. And then I know in the, when we saw that, not a promo, what is it? A sneak peek before the season began. Lucas goes into her house, and she has a little sailboat that he's going to play with little Jack with, because it's something that the fan like. So they pick up and leave off one thing and bring it into another. Do you think, and I know this is just me, and I don't know what my obsession is with this, other than you get to see more about him, but then we got that with The Office. Do you think we're ever going to see exactly where Lucas lives yet?
I think we are.
You too?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Okay.
absolutely think we are.
We are. I'm also wondering if maybe we don't see it because it's okay, because we've seen his office and we've learned a lot about him. But what if they're saving it for maybe a grander moment, for something maybe in season 10? I don't know. I'm
It
not
took
sure.
3 years for him to get into her place. So
Yes.
I think they're going to really milk it for all it's worth. They know everybody's wondering, where does Lucas live?
Right. Okay. Something interesting that I found out between, like, I love their relationship, how strong it is, right? I loved, we learned that he doesn't really go to church
Mhm.
normally. And there he is doing, and he said it's a little moment that I'm sharing with you, which really is a big moment. Like,
He's
they're
been to
going,
church for her before, though. Remember, he
yes,
went to Jack's baptism,
yes.
little Jack. And was there another one? He's been to various weddings or such, but in terms of just going for worship, he's doing everything he can for her
For
to
them as a
yeah,
unit, as
for
a
them.
family.
Hmm.
And thank you, writers. We're picking up on all of that, all those good things. The other thing that I wanted to point out with the two of them is, and somebody commented and didn't like it, but I like this. So he drives by and he's like, accident, get in, there's an accident, it's Nathan, and he takes her into town. He gets out, she gets out, but he then gets right back in to turn around. Like, why would he do that? Well, Bill needs help. The person who would go investigate an accident is the one who got hurt. So he's hurting. And it's not just, any old person. Not that they wouldn't do this for anyone, but they know each other. They're close. And he's like, we want to see, there's got to be front end damage. I'm going to go here. I sent somebody out there. And Lucas is like, I got a car. I'm going to help you too. He's done it before. Remember when they had the chickenpox epidemic, and he got on horseback to go ride out and help out too. So he got in his car to drive around. Now, someone was saying they didn't say anything yet. Well, the mystery isn't done yet. It's still rolling. He's still in the hospital,
And
Well,
did you pick up on the fact that what is it? Lucas had a line a couple seasons ago. Being a hero is my thing now. I
yeah.
think another thing of his is making sure that he delivers news to Elizabeth that she needs to have. Do you remember when Lee was felled by I think it was a tree that fell on him? His
Yes.
first action was to go get Elizabeth and tell her there's been an accident. It's Lee. And he
Yes.
knew how much,
It meant
he knows how much these people
yes.
mean to her. And he
Yes.
wants to make sure she's aware, and he gets her to them. Uh, Again, not a trace of jealousy, just
No.
I love her. I know she cares about this person, so I care about this person, and I want to make sure she gets there. I love that about him.
And when he said, with the chicken pox, I'll write off and I'll help, she was like, thank you. And the same came with this. She said, thank you, that he was going to go get in the car and go. She wasn't upset. It wasn't like he was leaving her high and dry, that kind of thing. He wanted to help out, which are all
She's
good.
proud of that. I think that's
Yes.
why she loves him so much.
Yes. Like, what is there not to love? Then let's talk about Henry. What
You know how I feel about Henry?
I know. Well, tell us again how you feel.
I think right now, hands down, Henry or Martin. I'll say Martin
Martin.
Cummins
Yes.
inhabits Henry. He doesn't play a part. He becomes Henry, because if you watch Henry's gait, the way he moves, the way he
Yes.
walks, he's just defeated by life. He doesn't care about his facial hygiene anymore. He's just letting the hair grow and
Yes.
no haircuts and doesn't care what he says. He just, being violent or whatever. I think that kudos to Martin for just bringing that character so much to life. And I'm hoping that we are in for a big storyline with him. I don't know if redemption is the right word, but I think his character is going to go through a tremendous arc this season.
I do too.
He was disappointed. I think he thought that going off, he was going to find Abigail and magic was going to happen and his life was going to change. And I don't think he in any way expected to end up back in Hope Valley just on his own again.
Yes.
And so, we saw a hint of it when he was headed to church. He kind of knows what he needs to do. Isn't quite there yet. So he turned around and came back. But man, it's going to be exciting to see what happens with his character. How about you? What were your thoughts on Henry?
I'm thinking along the same lines as you, and little by little we get more and more. And he went through some things in the first episode. He went in through more things in this episode. And then again, the next, I also think that I had said this before when Joe was here, there's going to come a point, like a time where he's going to have a big conversation somehow, some way with Molly and Florence, because their husbands died in that mine.
Mhm.
So they're like two of the characters that are still, on the show and whose storylines are still important. And I feel like there's going to be some kind of confrontation, discussion, something, because we've never really seen it before.
Right.
And that will be part of his healing. And I remember seeing a behind the scenes clip. I think Viv, he shared it. And it was Joseph and Minnie, and they were headed towards the bridge. I don't know if I've ever said this before. If I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry, but I don't think it's like a wedding scene. And I don't think it's like, for now, I don't think it's a wedding scene. I don't think it's a proposal. What I really think is that it's something to do with Henry. Like, why couldn't it be symbolic of him being born again or being baptized? Maybe he never was, right?
Or if you want to play off the whole It's a Wonderful Life thing.
Yes.
How did George end up at that bridge?
Yes. Yes.
And the people who care about him and love him come to find him and talk him out, or talk him out of, if he's got those kinds of ideas. So I think I also love the fact that the person closest to him who is able to talk to him and say anything to him, bring him out of his doldrums, is Elizabeth. Yes. And I think that Lucas has shown that same kind of care for him.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that Henry may be headed for It's a Wonderful Life kind of storyline, and he's just going to find out how beloved he really is in the town, and that may be where Molly and or Florence come into play. Yeah, because he thinks he needs forgiveness. If they forgive him and tell him how much he's needed, that could be the point at which he turns it all around.
Which makes for like a super exciting storyline. I'm like really looking forward to it. There were times that I got a little teary-eyed by some of the things that happened, like the music and Henry almost going into the church and then turning around, and then what Joseph was saying and narrating while that was all happening. Like, church is really for fellowship, for us to come together and love on each other and care about each other, and how he still, like most of that community was in that church that day, and he was not. He tried to be, but he turned around. But what about what it took him like 4 tries to get it right when he comes to talk to the students, because they heard about, and he says, I wrote it down because I loved it. If we hurt one another, we all just end up in pain. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. This is so good. So good.
Another pivotal Henry moment that just sticks in my mind. Mm-hmm. This is from season 7, I think. It's when they have the dance, and they announce, this time, ladies, you pick who you want to dance with. They cut to Henry, and he immediately doesn't miss a beat. He gets up, gets his hat, and walks out. And it's like he knows or believes no woman is going to ask me to dance. He is just so freaking lonely, and I want him to turn that around. I mean, have we ever seen a happy Henry? I don't think so. A genuinely happy Henry, and I'm hoping that's where they're headed.
I know. So there's a lot going on in the chat. Okay, let's talk with our peeps here. Let's see. Here's this. Arlene, I'm disappointed we didn't see who won Lucas Elizabeth race. Arlene, are you talking about what is it?
I think she meant Lucas and Nathan race.
It didn't happen yet. That's why we saw that was just that 3 minutes was a little promo. It's going to happen because Nathan's clean shaven, he's healed obviously, and they do have a race. And I want to say that I think that we're going to find out who does win it, because there comes a point, I know Chris said that he sort of has to lick his wounds for losing something, a bet, and he does it, but it turns out to be a good thing. So I'm wondering if he loses the race, but there's a moment somehow, some way with Elizabeth and Lucas over it. I don't know. And come on now, there's got to be a point where we do see that Lucas does lose something, because Lucas keeps winning everything. Do you know what I mean? There's got to be a time where he has to be, taken down a little bit. He's not everything goes everyone's way.
Yeah, I'm with you, except I think it may ultimately end up in being a Nathan Lucas bonding moment rather than
yes. Oh,
positive that comes out of it.
Okay. Nancy wants to know, why does Lee need another job? He still owns the lumber company. You're right, but he's not fulfilled. He says this in season 8. He says, I just sell stuff that people use to make things. He even has that time where he would make furniture with his grandfather or somebody in his family. So Rosie changes their backyard up, instead of it being her garden and a patio, she changes it for him to do, like, woodworking. And he has that whole conversation at one point with Joseph where he wants to be able to make something, do something. And that's where that whole calling thing comes. Yeah. Luca Beth, Sandy, nothing happened to the mill. It's still there. Yeah. Yeah. And let's see. You can see these too, Kathy, right? You can scroll down. Let's see. Marchie says, I think Lee and Rosemary will be butting heads with him working with her. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he does still have the lumber company. I believe that there will be a child for them some way, somehow. And I'm so totally in agreement with that. Viola. Viola. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. That's how I would say it in English, but I love the name Viola. Isn't Pascal pregnant in real life? Did I see a post about that? I wonder if she was showing before the end of the year and they work it in. No, I don't, Viola. I'm not sure why you're saying that, Viola. You can maybe add more in the chat. You might be going off of, she had a cake when she was celebrating in her house, and she put a picture out before it all started, and she said season 9 baby or season 10 baby, like meaning let's get a season 10, I think, and she had the word baby. I think that was a hint to, when people go, oh yeah, baby, we got, that kind of thing. But I think it had double meaning in that babies are coming, that's what I took it as. I don't know about her being pregnant in real life. She could be. All right.
There's a question from Christina.
Okay.
I think it's 8:46 p.m. your time. Really interesting. Do you think Nathan's accident was on purpose, and who hit him? I have no clue where that's going. Do you have any thoughts?
I do. And I do think that it was done on purpose. And I do think it will become a deeper investigation, and we'll find things, going on. And if it wasn't on purpose, and I really do think there's just more of that storyline. It's not just going to stop right there. If it's not that it wasn't on purpose, maybe the person didn't mean to, was out of control, right? Didn't expect that all to happen, but God was so afraid they kept on going. So then maybe we could dig that out. Any young kid could have hijacked a car and drove it.
Yeah, I keep thinking somewhere along the line we're going to see more Pinkertons. And what's that guy's name? Spurlock. Somewhere they're going to pop up. So maybe they have something to do with it. Maybe not. I don't know. But there's more mischief afoot with those folks.
I totally agree. I'm just trying to move down and the chat. Hopefully, Christina wants to know if we think Hickam and Fiona will get together. What do you think?
I think it's kind of too obvious almost that they're going to get together. I think there's going to be some tension. If she tells him one more, if she omits any more information from what she's doing, I think that could cause a real rift between them, and then she'll have to kind of fight to get back in his good graces. That's just my thought, because those are the hints. That's what I've been picking up, that it's about to be not smooth sailing for the two of them.
I agree.
Him being mayor and her doing her thing.
And maybe she realizes that how much their relationship does mean to them, to her. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, there's so much to explore with Fiona. I feel like we're going to find out something about her ex fiance. I think we're going to get to meet him. She's leaving to go somewhere, and she's not quite sure. She said when Hickam said, "I'm going to give you my shares," and she's trying to seal the deal, do right. Then when she comes back, she even says something, "I closed the deal." So I'm curious to see what she did. Yeah.
I'm afraid that she may be a little overconfident, and that she did something really that's not going to turn out well, although she had good intentions. So that'll be interesting to see where that's going.
Okay. Remember how jealous Allie was when she thought Robert liked another girl? Yes. And we have some new faces at the Jack Thornton School who haven't been introduced yet. Yes, I saw them too. I saw them. So there's that whole storyline for the kiddos. And I like it because when this series first started, there were a lot of stories about the children and Elizabeth, his life and how important she was to the children. And I would love to see that again. I want to see more of it. I feel like we got more and more away from it. I understand about, COVID and all of that. So I'm just hoping we can get back to it. Let's see. They showed us, is this it? And a guy getting out with a cap on. They showed a scene with a damaged car and a guy getting out with a cap on. They did, Luca Beth, Sandy? I will have to pay attention to that. I will go back to that and go see. All right. Let's see what else. I didn't want to ignore the different questions that people had. What's this? How about the looks between them, the warmth in their voices, the hand holding, the little moments? They were so sweet with each other. They were. Even the squeeze when they were, walking away from each other. I know.
And wasn't there a scene where they were kind of talking? I don't remember if they were walking out where she actually reached for his hand, or am I imagining that?
No, she did.
He's come so far from the saloon where he tried to hold her, and she's like, "No, I don't think so."
I know. And she reached for him. And while he's talking to her, and still holding her hand, he moves the hand around, even though they are still holding on. I thought that was funny. That's like a Chris thing.
Yep. I think that one of the results of her losing Jack is that she is now more open, and she is not as hesitant with the PDAs. She knows that it can end in an instant. And so she has evolved into someone who, I love him. He's here right now, and I'm going to show him I love him, and I don't care who likes it or who doesn't like it. I think
agree.
That's
great. And I like that. We're along for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
Patricia's, her opinion is that, ladies, I thought the Elizabeth and Lucas scenes are cut and unfinished. Okay, but I didn't. I like them. I mean, we're easing into the storyline. When you think about this from a writer's perspective, so in the beginning is exposition. You have to set up all of, the characters, the setting, and start building the conflicts that'll come along. And then we're going to see all the rising action happen, some big kapow, and then resolution, and then we're done with the anticlimax, right?
And the interaction, because we talked about this last week, that it seems like most of the storylines involve characters who aren't directly involved in that particular storyline, if that makes sense.
Yes. So one thing picks up and leads to another, right?
Yep.
So I think that the writers are doing a fabulous job, because they've got 12 episodes that's going to span through time. Now, we know time is a little weird in Hope Valley. They've said it themselves, but we're going to see seasons. We're going to start where we are, and we're going to wind up, I think, in fall. So they're moving along over a period of time with many, many characters, a huge cast, and they're introducing little pieces at a time. I'm okay with the scenes. I actually liked it. But I know there are other people that are out there feeling like they were cut and unfinished. I'm assuming, Patricia, that you are very much a Luca Beth fan and you want to see all that good stuff. And I think we're going to get more of it. I would just hold my hat. I think it's coming.
Yeah, I think it depends too on if you're the person who enjoys the journey or the destination. I
Yes.
happen to be one who enjoys both. We've seen the journey and they focused on them heavily for like 2.5 years. And so now we're seeing the destination. They're
Yeah.
in love, they're living their normal lives, but now we're kind of pulling the camera back and looking at some of the others. I think that's a good thing.
I do
think
too.
that's absolutely a good thing that, nobody can gripe that it's the Lucas and Elizabeth show. It's not really. It's, it's an ensemble collection of actors. And thank goodness, I think the writers are doing a marvelous job of making each storyline interesting.
They're all so good and interesting. I want to know what happens to Cooper. I want to know more about Minnie's past because you know how I feel about that. Like there's a story there. Now we've got Mei Sou that's shrouded in mystery. And come on now, Nathan. We really don't even see much like Nathan and Allie. Nathan and Elizabeth. Now we're going to see Nathan, I think, and he's going to have more of a comedic. He's great at comedy.
He
Kevin
really is.
McCary. He's like oh my God, he's something
You can
else.
tell he's loving it.
I know. And so I think that we're going to get to see it, more and him getting to be silly. And we didn't see that before. So it's to me, I'm
All that
excited.
tension, all that
Yeah, like I
angst
had
is
enough.
gone now. We can just focus on the good stuff.
I like this idea. Rona, is that how you say it? Rona? I think if I hack up your name, I don't like doing that. Because I think about my students, and it's such a personal thing when we get your name incorrect. So I'm trying my best. I think Jack will be the first one to see Lucas's house if and when it happens. Before his mama does. Okay. All right. What's this say? Of course, Abigail, tell Elizabeth. Oh, she taught her how to make those delicious scones.
That's actually plausible. She sent her a letter with the recipe.
So true. I believe it. Yes, Nancy, Bill and Lucas and someone else all drove to neighboring towns to see if they could find the car that hit Nathan. And then no more talk of it. Just Lucas handing Nathan his crushed hat. Yes, I do think there will be more talk of it, that it just hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Yeah, I'm thinking that. All right. And someone here, Bonnie says she thinks it's a Pinkerton.
Or maybe his brother-in-law busted out of jail.
Wow.
I know that's highly unlikely, but he's definitely an enemy.
Okay. What's this? Jill says she loved Jack looking at Lucas in church.
Are we all obsessed? Because I remember that moment too.
They were so cute. He looked up. I love them together. Oh. Cindy saying she remembers he was in church. The episode with Allie ran away to Elizabeth's house, season 7. Yes. Something was going on. Was it a holiday? Was it a holiday in that scene? Because I remember she made Pascal. Well, Pascal, I always say that. She made Rosemary and Lee take her to church when she ran away with her suitcase and it was packed. Do you remember? Because she was mad at her uncle. Then they went to church. I don't remember Lucas being in church, but that's okay. I think there was something going on too that day. All right. Let's see what this one says. Elizabeth and Lucas are really the closest to Nathan. So I think they're going to be like a family to Nathan and Allie. Yes, Joan, thank you. I did a video about this and I so think this is going to happen. And what have you said all along, Kathy, about that relationship between Lucas and Nathan?
They're going to be besties.
Yes. You said you wouldn't even be surprised if they were in each other's wedding, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Lucas will probably get married first, I think, just based on what I'm seeing right now. And if Nathan isn't his best man, even if they have to go through some contrived plot line to make it happen, I'll be shocked if he's not his best man. And making snarky comments during the whole ceremony, because that's his thing now.
I know. He's a pain in the neck. They show you a promo for next week where Florence is like saying your heart, was flouted, and because he's looking at the window at Mei Sou because she intrigues him, and she's like, oh, take your time, and he's like, I'm not looking for a new courtship, and I'm thinking, new, you never had a courtship yet, and my heart was not flouted, and he leaves. He still has the mustache, and he's still mad. I love it. Oh goodness.
I have never liked Nathan more than I'm liking him this season. I'm
Oh,
loving the personality, the attitude. He's really, he's on the good side now.
I love Nathan. You know that. I love all the characters. I love them all. Tia says, if it isn't the Pinkertons who are the obvious choice for the accident, maybe Cooper is hanging with the older boys and got into trouble by taking the car. Oh, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Yes.
It would.
That would be a whole other little storyline that I think would be interesting. It was kind of going in my brain. And Janice, hey, Janice, she says, I think if his brother-in-law had busted out, Nathan would have been notified. And that's true. Yeah. And let's see. I understand that. That's Christine. She says, Henry should be Lucas's best man. I get it. I get that.
He had more than one man standing up for him.
Sure.
I think Lee could be standing up for him, and who's mercantile guy? I'm blanking.
Ned,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So we come to the end of the road here. Oh, we've been just a hair over an hour. Wow. Thank you for spending time with us. Kathy, did you want to say anything before we wrap up?
Nope. Just looking forward to next week. Is that the episode where he's reading to Nathan? Reading to Nathan. Yeah, he's going to go over and hang out and read to Nathan. That would be a good scene. No, where he's reading to little Jack.
No, that's episode 4. In
Okay.
episode 3, they have the big party for Elizabeth's book. Everybody's reading the book and going crazy or not so crazy about it, trying to figure out stories. They showed where Mei Sou was sitting with Faith, and she's like,
oh, yeah.
The Mountie in this story is that based on Nathan Grant? Because she seems very intrigued by him.
Yeah.
And I know people are upset because she's supposed to be a married woman. So they're like, oh, the show is going south, I think just give it time.
You don't know the whole story yet.
Yeah, I know. Oh, thank you, Luke, about that. You love our chats. We just go on and on and on talking about our favorite stuff. Next week, Wesley Salter will be on, who is Wyman. And I'm so excited because that's when we get to finally see his character again. And I think he's very interesting. I think there's a little bit of like a mystery with him. And I'm very excited. I have no idea who's coming on for episode 4. I will be honest with you and tell you that I think because it's so like involved with Lucas and little Jack, I would love for both of them to come on for a few minutes. I would love it if the little but he's Fort Knox, locked down, no communication there with mom. So, and I get it because he's 3, if he would just even come on and say, hey, Hearties, that would be my dream, but that's not happening. And I've reached out to Chris McNally. If you want to tweet this out on social media, you may, or put it out wherever on Instagram. I have reached out to his agent numerous times because he is my number 1 requested person to be on. And I have to tell you that it is radio silence. They don't respond saying yes or no. There's nothing. Everyone else responds, but I don't know what's going down. It is, and it really is his agent. I know who his agent is. So it would be nice if he came on. We would love it. We would treat him kindly. We love him. We love Chris, the actor and the character, right?
Kindly is probably an understatement, but yeah. I'm with Roxanne. Yeah.
We'd be good to you. We would be good. So I don't know who's coming on, but I do know later on.
Martin. We need to get Martin on here.
Oh, he's on the list. We just have to figure out, dates and stuff. And
if Julie says Lucas has 2 agents.
He does. I know he actually does not. You think he has 2 agents, but he doesn't. Lucas has and there's a manager and there's agent, but he really has like the one agent. Believe me, I know the one agency has 2 people now that are working under that, but I'm telling you, I know. I've talked actually to his agent before, very early on. So anyway, also, if you haven't seen this, we love Kayla and we love Kevin McGarry and Kayla Wallace. They had their movie Feeling Butterflies. It is absolutely adorable. It's just visually gorgeous. The cast and crew loved each other, and you can tell because it shows in the movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it. And I interviewed all of the actors, all of the girls. But then I had the opportunity for like a premiere event with the director. We did it last Saturday, which a couple days ago, and Kevin's there, and so is Ish couldn't make it. He's one of the characters in the movie, but because it was his birthday and he went away and did something. But Randy Thomas is there, who plays Kayla's dad, and it's like Marita shares all these behind the scene photos and takes us through everything, and then you get to see everybody act silly and just the dynamics of all of them. It was fun. It's over an hour long, so that's up, as well as you have to see the movie. It's cute. It really is. It's worth it. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you for stopping by.
Coming by.
Bye.